Hi guys! Wow, it's been a while. But welcome to Red Puts Art in Your Face, my art stream. We are back. It's been a really long time. Mostly it's been because I got a new laptop and I wanted to make sure everything was set up properly before I started streaming again. Um, I just wanted to make sure nothing would go wrong, that I had everything set up, and that I had all my old art programs going. Um, I actually have some new art programs because what ended up happening was I got a job. So there's been a lot of improvement all around. But I'll get into that later. Why don't we go ahead and start working on the art? Since that's why you guys are here, I'm going to assume. So today we're going to be working on a couple of original designs of mine of these two original characters I had called Web and Weaver. They are Transformers. And my original characters, sorry if I sound a little rough, I woke up not too long ago. I was like, yeah, I'll do the early morning, I'll do the morning stream. Why not? This is why not. Still haven't gotten everything quite down yet, but I've got the chat up on my phone. My phone has a ridiculously long battery life now, so because I got a new phone. Because for those of you who are familiar with the show, I used to do everything on a Mac, and I had an iPhone, and all those wonderful things. And now I have none of that because Mac is horrible. And it's just getting worse and worse especially for artists. So I'm kind of just glad to finally be doing stuff again in a way that I really can. Especially since this is the problem with character creation. Sometimes you're like, oh, I feel like you should be missing these legs, and then you're like, no, wait, that would be ridiculous. so, so these are the brothers Webb and Weaver. Webb is missing one arm, which is why I have him facing this way, and why there's no second arm here. It ends right there. And Weaver is deaf, but you can't tell that because you can't tell if people are deaf just by looking at them. I wanted that to be important to his character. And I've I kind of changed a few ways that I've done things since the last time. Come up with a few new techniques, especially since this is a new art program. It's different than my old one because I had to scrap all my old programs because they were for Mac, and this is not a Mac anymore. I'm now working off of a PC. Sort of. It's a laptop. But yeah, I had to scrap the old program and get new ones, and so the new program is Clip Paint Studio instead of Manga Studio, which is the Mac version. But a lot of my techniques stayed the same. Hey, thanks for following the Owl's Perch. That means a lot. So what I start off with is I create a new layer above whatever colored layer I'm working on, because we're moving on from line art to coloring, and we've done the base colors, so now we're moving on to shading. And how I first start my shading for a lot of colors, especially those on the darker end of the scale, is I will create a new layer, and I will link the transparency to the layer beneath it by clicking this. Click to layer below. So now this layer will only show up on this layer. So again, I can affect this layer and it'll show up anywhere, but this one will only show up on here, which is good. And then after I have this new layer set to normal, I will set the opacity down to 40%, and then I'll just take regular black and I'll go in and start drawing out my very firm shadows to kind of create where my light source is going to be coming from. A lot of times what I'll end up doing is before I start this stage, I will have like a spectrum gradient going from one direction or the other to kind of help me create my light source. But because I'm going to be using two different light sources this time, one from this direction and one from this direction, that wouldn't really make a whole lot of sense. So I'm just kind of playing it by ear, which is not the smartest thing to do, but here we are. Alright, so basically once you start with that, I just use my pen tool to create, and I make sure to set it to the anti-aliasing to pretty strong. I just kind of wanted to make it a very soft brush. I use that even for drawing because I kind of like the effect it gives you. So yeah, so I'm starting off with these pretty thick lines because I want to create this really thick, very strong area of shadow. Because we'll add in some gradient shading afterwards. And then you're just drawing out where you want your shadows to be. And I like creating these like motion lines when I do my robots, especially because it helps me keep in mind where I want my shadows to be. So like that line right there, this little itty bitty one right here, that one helps me to establish where my shadows are going to be, and I want them to be shaped, and I put that down in when I'm doing the final line art stage, just to kind of help me out. And it's just kind of a rough guide. I don't have to use it as a like actual guide because sometimes like I want the shadows to be a little bit to go a little bit further, or that's where I just want them to start, you know. It's just kind of a rough guide. It doesn't have to be like so strict. It's art. I don't really think of art as a very strict discipline. It's art, you know. Art's never really gonna be very strict. Everyone's got their own opinions and styles and everything. So, you know, it's good to do things however you would like to do them. And yeah, so it's basically just creating this very firm, thick shadow line to kind of help give the idea of depth and base and where everything is. It also helps you really define the shapes of your character as well. So, I'm just gonna go ahead. Some shapes. Yeah, so the last time, it's been a really long time since I was streaming. I think, I really can't remember the last time, which is not good. But yeah, the last time I streamed, I was working off of my Mac, and like things weren't going so well. And then Mac had this update where the drivers they work with had to be of a certain level, and like only the highest, newest art programs and tablet drivers are able to get to that level. And it was like, I can't do that. I can't afford that. I can't do that. And this was actually before I even got a job. So I got the new laptop first, and then I started doing art again. And I was just very thankful just to be doing art, because there was like a couple weeks there where I was just very depressed because I couldn't do art. I really wanted to do art, but I couldn't. But my roommates were very generous, and they gifted me this new laptop that I'm working off of now. And I wanted to go back to streaming, but I wasn't quite sure if the new laptop would be able to handle it. I was very nervous because I haven't had a PC since I was like 15. So I was very nervous about the capabilities of it. And I know that's kind of silly. Yes.
I went and looked. The last VOD for you doing an art stream.
Yes.
Was July 3rd, 2019.
Oh!
It's been over a year.
It's been over a year by like 3 days. Wow. Okay, so on the year anniversary of me stopping art streams, I come back. Wow. Oh man, that's some feels bad right there. uh,
Make you feel bad.
it's fine. That's my roommate Rob. You guys should, if you're familiar with the channel, you should be familiar with him. If you're coming at it from like, you're a follower of my Tumblr, he'll be new to you. That's my roommate. He does the majority of the streaming now. But yeah, like it's been a while. Yeah, but I wanted to make sure that the new laptop can handle it, because I know it's silly, but like I was so nervous about having a PC after having a Mac for so long, and honestly now I'm very comfortable with it, which is why I was like, okay, now I can start streaming again. And it was purely because now I'm comfortable with it. Like, you need to be comfortable if you're going to be doing streaming. You need to be comfortable with your setup. Aww. Thank you. Thank you. Green awesome. Thank you. I really appreciate that. But yeah, like if you're gonna be doing streaming, especially if you're doing art streaming, you want to be very comfortable with your setup. That way, the only thing you really have to worry about is making sure that you are entertaining and that your artwork comes out, and that you can just focus on your artwork, which is what I'm doing here. The good thing about like shaping shadows the way that I do is like you can take your time to think about it and think about the placement and like how things would react to one another and where you want to go. And you can always go back and add more, or say, oh, I made a mistake there, I need to go back in and fix it. Like, for instance, I'm noticing I'm missing a little bit of a color there, so I'm gonna go in, zoom in just a little bit, grab the color that I was using, make my pen tool a lot smaller, and just color that in. Now it's fixed, and I can go back to my base black and my larger brush. Well, pen. Larger pen, because we're using the pen tool. We'll probably use a brush tool later when I do the highlighting, but yeah, for now. Oh, okay. Bye. Have fun. Drive safe. Yeah, so I start off using the pen tool. It's a very versatile tool, the pen tool. I don't always use just the pen tool. I just find it to be easier. It's kind of like using ink pens, although I was never very good at using ink pens in real life. It's weird because I don't have a full lot of confidence in my skills as a practical artist, but a digital artist, I'm like, yeah, I can do that, no problem. Like now I have confidence in myself. I wasn't always that confident, but I am now. All right. You get more confident with your art as you go along and you practice. Yeah, so the big changes have been that I now have a part-time job. I work at my local library, although due to the pandemic, the local library branch that hired me is currently shut down, so they actually shipped me to the next town over. I mean, I was going there for some shifts anyway, but now like all of my shifts are there, which feels weird. So that's where I'm working now, but it's helped me. I managed to buy more RAM for the computers. I felt safer doing art streams on it, which I know again is silly. Like the base laptop itself could have very easily handled streaming, but I don't know. I was nervous about it, and I just wanted to be a little bit more comfortable. I wanted to be as prepared as I possibly could before I started again. And now I am, so yeah. Uh, but yeah, like so that happened, and in the meantime, I was also working on things. Like I started really putting an effort on my Transformers OCs and the AU I built to go around them. I was also spending a lot of time making life just comfortable for myself, because I had been uncomfortable for a very long time, just like in general. but now I mean I think it was really just because I still had furniture that my mother had picked out and bought for me, and I had no voice or choice on. And now all the furniture in my room is mine. I paid for it. Some of it I built myself. Well, not like built, but like I put it together. With help from my roommates and help from a friend, of course, on my bed at least. But yeah, like I worked really hard to get it all set up, and it's the same with my bathroom. Like my living space is now, it feels like mine, and that was very important to me. And I just feel a lot more comfortable. Plus, I noticed my art suddenly improved when I wasn't like drawing with my laptop on a TV tray and with my tablet in my lap. It's like all of a sudden my art improved. It's like as if all I needed was a steady surface. I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I was drawing like at a weird angle with a shifty, shaky surface, and now I'm like, oh, what do you know? All the difference a steady work surface makes. Look at that. And it was just like one of those dumb, I should have been doing this all along things, but I didn't really have the space on my old desk, so, and now I have two. I have two desks, because eventually I'm hoping to get a desktop and having like a 2-screen setup, which is why I wanted to get an L-shaped desk, but they didn't make any like small enough for my room or in the color I wanted or in my price range. So I was like, screw it, I'm just gonna get 2 desks and like make my own L-shaped desk thing. So now I've got these 2 desks, and I think it actually worked out better because it was cheaper and it ended up creating more of the space that I wanted. So feel pretty good about it. Yeah. Yeah, my voice is really rough this morning. I didn't have much of a workup before I just jumped into this. It's just like, yeah, let's just get right to the streaming. Let me have a mild panic attack that I don't have it set up properly, and then that's not true. I didn't have a panic attack. I was just nervous. There's a difference, and I should know because I do get panic attacks. And I'm glad that I chose now to start streaming and not like a few weeks ago when or like last month when our air conditioning wasn't working. And I wasn't sleeping because when it's too hot, I can't sleep. I don't react to heat very well. It's almost like my relatives came from Scandinavia or something. But yeah, like I had 3 days in a row where I just was not sleeping. It got so bad that like I made a couple of manic purchases that I then had to return. They were very expensive, and it was not the smartest thing in the world that I made those purchases in the first place. But, there's certain things that you do when you're running on 0 sleep for 3 days in a row. I also started to see things, and I was getting really paranoid. So, yeah, it's a good thing I'm starting now and not then. Because I don't think I would have done very well. There would have been a lot of ranting and a lot of paranoid statements coming out of my mouth. So this is much better. And like you'll see me adjust my pen tool here a lot because like I don't really have like a set size that I work with when I do my shades, my shading, like my shadows. Yeah, shadows. And that's mostly because you know, sometimes you need it larger and sometimes you need it smaller. It all depends on what like kind of tool that you need. And the thing is with my robots, I've learned, you know, the sharper the shadows, the more metallic and like the stronger the shape turns out to look. So it's always good to go really sharp when you're doing shadows on robots. I've noticed, especially if you're doing transformers. Oh, another key tip. And this one I learned from Rob, and I was actually very happy to have learned this because it helped me out immensely when I was doing when I was designing my original characters for Transformers. When you're designing a robot, it's actually better to make the thigh longer and shorter, and the calves and ankles on the lower half of the leg longer, because it I don't know, our minds just are like, yeah, that looks right. If you make them actually human proportion, it's like, no, that's wrong. Which I know is ridiculous, but that's actually, I don't know why, but that's just how it works. That's just how the robot do. Yep. Let's see what else have I been up to in the year since I have been gone. I haven't really played any new games, I can say. Oh, well, no, that's a lie, because I played a new game last night, which I will be excited to get back to later today after the stream is over. And that's Hustle Cat, which I'm having a lot of fun with it. I really wish I could have romanced Graves right off the bat, but no, he's like endgame. You have to romance everybody else first. Because Hustle Cat is kind of a, it's like one of those mystery, like, choose your own adventure dating games. It's not an app. It's on Steam. Like, I really enjoy it. There's, like, certain things, that I would improve if I had made the game, but I didn't. So I can't really critique it too hard. All I know is that, like, there's things I really like about it. There's things that I feel could have been improved, or changed. Like, all I really want to do is, like, change the name of my character. That's really it. Like, it's a text-based game. All I really want to do is have it so that the characters name my name. Because I'm stupid like that. I just, like, it's a romance game. Like, I don't want to be, like, some person named, John Smith. I want to be a person named Freyr, because that's my name. You know? Like, and it's just like a preference thing. I'm just like, listen, I get that Commander Shepard is Commander Shepard, and I can't change that last name, but I can change the first name, and I can pretend in the back of my mind that, you know, when Garrus and I go off on our own, he's like calling me by my first name, and that's fun. And I don't always choose my first name. I don't always choose my name. Sometimes I choose somebody else's name, or just a name that I find would be more fun for the character I'm playing. Like, it's a D&D thing. I went off on a tangent there, but, like, you know, so that's something I wish that Hustle Cat had, but I just wish that I could change my name so I wasn't stuck with the name they give you. Which is not like it's a bad name or anything. It's like gender neutral, and you can be whatever gender and romance everyone. But it's like, I want to change my name. I would also kind of like to change my like hair color and eye color and stuff like and stuff like that. Because I can change my skin color, but I can't change the color of anything else. Which I'm like, I guess that's okay. But wish I could be a different hair color. Like, just saying. It's still cool. It's still a fun game. Like, they're minor complaints, really. It's like nitpicky stuff. It's like, the rest of the game's really well done. Like, it's very well written. The artwork is very cute. It's very inclusive, because it lets you choose your pronouns and your gender, and you can just romance basically anybody, regardless of your gender or whatever. And I really like that. I think the story is pretty compelling, because it takes place in a cat cafe, and I'm like, that's stupid, but I love it. I'm like, I love that, you know, it's in a cat cafe, and I get to, like, do all this stuff with cats. I think that's really fun. I'm like, I love cats. This is stupid. I love it. Okay, but other than Hustle Cat, I haven't really played any games. I've been playing like Stardew Valley and Skyrim, Plants vs. Zombies when I get overwhelmed and I just need to shut off my brain and not think for a while, because it's weird, but this is Plants vs. Zombies. I don't need my brain for that. You know, I just go on autopilot. Put this here, put that there, done. Like, let run. I don't know, like, resource management strategy games, my brain just kind of shuts off for those after a time. Like, once I get it down, I'm just like, nope, I don't need to think. Do this, plant that there, and done. There was, like, a 40K game that I played once on somebody else's computer. And I can't remember the name of it. I just know it was 40K because it had Tyranids, and this is the game that made me fall in love with them. I was like, fuck it, I love Tyranids. They're awesome. I know they're space abominations. I don't care. They're cute. Give me more Tyranids. And it let you paint your units, like, whatever color you wanted, and it was basically, like, go up against, your friend, and it's all resource management, you know? You know, get these things so you can buy bigger units, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, okay. So after, like, the first time, when I figured out, like, the controls and stuff, because he let me play it by myself for a little while, when the friend who was letting me play on it came back, it was kind of like, okay, let's see, you know, I'll play with you, and he's just kind of like, you know, he was kind of like, you know, it felt like he was kind of, like, humoring me, like, he was gonna kick my ass, and then the next thing he knows, he's like, how the hell are you winning so easily? And I was like, I figured out the game. I figured out resource management. That's all you need. I can shut off my brain for this now. I work on autopilot. Goodbye. And I owned him, and it was a lot of, like, that was fun for me. Just, like, completely and totally, destroying this dude at his own game. Just like, do this, do that, and done. End of game. Don't ever, like, let me, like, if we're playing a resource management game, and I get, make Freyr play more dating sims and RTS 2020. Gonna make Freyr play Grey Goo and Lovers of Aether. I have no idea what Grey Goo is, but okay.
Okay, so Grey Goo is like StarCraft.
Okay.
So it's an RTS. Okay. Resource management, real-time strategy.
Okay.
Here are your three factions. 1, humans, those dinguses from Earth who always show up in sci-fi and ruin everything.
It's true, we do ruin everything.
We're great at it. 2, there's, like, an alien race that have, like, mild, Turian vibes.
Okay.
Like, slightly Roman, kinda blue. Okay. Turian vibes. And 3, an amorphous blob of nanites. That is just devouring the universe.
Okay.
Those are the 3 different factions you can play as.
Okay.
If you're playing as the Goo, your resource is the enemy units.
Ah, nice.
But they will shoot at you, and that will hurt you.
Yeah.
So you need to find a way to eat them, to then build your own units.
Got it.
It's interesting. I don't have the head for RTSs. The other two RTSs I kind of want to throw you at. Warhammer 40k Dawn of War 3. Because I want to see you play Tyranids and go nuts across the galaxy.
Is that... I think that's the game I played.
I think you played the first one.
The first one?
It wasn't with me.
Yeah, it was not with you.
But I just got my hands on the third one.
Okay.
So...
I just remember that this one was like... I kind of liked the graphics. Obviously, this was a few years ago, so they weren't great.
Hey, you know what? Old graphics have their charm.
Yeah. I mean, it was still in the 2000s, so it was, still pretty good.
Yeah.
I remember you could color your units any color you wanted.
Uh-huh.
And you could play offline against somebody else.
Sure.
And it was basically like, you have to go and seize this thing, and that gives you resources.
It's 40k.
Yeah.
The other one I kind of want to throw you at is my personal favorite RTS, Impossible Creatures. 1920s. Oh god, what is the? I guess it's flapper punk if it's 1920 or noir punk.
Noir punk.
All right, 1920s noir punk RTS.
Nice.
Where all of your units, except for your grunts are just mooks. They're big bald men who just talk with a thick Brooklyn accent. But all your other units are made out of combinations of animals that you choose.
Ooh, neat.
And you pick what the limbs are.
Ha.
So, like, I'm going to put an archerfish head on a chimpanzee to make a double-ranged unit. Oh, and your buildings are all, like, diesel and coal... they're all coal-powered. So you have to go, like, if you go mine some coal, shovel it into this train. The train's then going to make this horrible electrical contraption that spits out scorpion coyotes.
Scorpion coyotes, wave of the future.
Now, are these scorpions the size of coyotes or coyotes the size of scorpions? Both? Oh, no.
Oh, no.
I will tell you right now, the most broken unit?
Yeah?
Sperm lobster.
Sperm lobster.
Technically sperm lobster, but that kind of sounds like an uwu thing.
This is after we watched the episode of The Simpsons with Mr. Pinchy, and now all I can think of is just ooh lobster.
So just imagine a sperm whale.
Yeah.
That can survive on land with big old lobster legs and claws.
Oh no.
The claws tearing down fences, and then it like sonar blasting everything.
I love it.
I thought you would.
Like the thing about it when I played the 40k game was that like it basically devolved into, the first time around it was, yeah, haha, you need to manage your units more safely, and then I was like, okay. And then I figured out Tyranids are super cheap, like way more cheap than any other.
It's the Zerg strategy.
Yeah.
You Zerg rushed him.
Yeah.
He went, we're not playing StarCraft. I'm not susceptible to a Zerg rush. Freyr plays the original Zergs.
Like, basically, because it was like, yeah, haha, you have to manage your units more correctly, so I was like, okay. Because I was summoning a lot of big units like he was.
Right.
And that was dumb of me.
Itty bitty guys.
Itty bitty guys. So what I ended up doing was just summoning, like, 30 or 40, like, little guys after I collected my 2 pots next to my, like, base.
Yeah.
Because I could.
Of course.
And I had my 1 big guy, and then I just sent them out.
That's what you gotta do. And that's your magic strategy, too.
Yeah.
Here's my 1 verdant force and his 29 sapperling children.
Yep. I love that strategy. It's a very good strategy.
It works well.
And this basically just evolved into, I gained all the resources before he could even get to them because I was just setting them out as fast as possible.
I kind of want to set you on original StarCraft now.
And see how I do.
Just see what happens.
Like, because the thing is, like, once I figure out the optimal strategy for a game, I don't deviate from it. I mean, I will if I have to, like, I can adapt, but, like, when I start off, I'm just like, okay, I see how it is. And then I become basically an evil villain with all of my minions. Because by the time he was starting to go out and collect resources, I had so many guys and had collected all of the resources that I was already building all my big units, and I could just send them out there to obliterate his guys. And it just basically became the world's worst massacre. He was using, like, necrobotic space marines or something, and I was like, fuck you, watch this. So, yeah, I like, and the thing is like, games like, Brutal Legend that have some RTS in it, but, like, the RTS is kind of weak.
Fuck, why am I not having you play Pikmin?
Right? I keep wanting to, and then you're just like, no, it's okay, we got this. I'm like, oh, I want to play Pikmin, though.
You need to make this more clear. You're saying, like, I could play if you don't want to. You're being like the person over on the wall hoping somebody asks them out to dance. There's all these red and yellow and purple and blue assholes out there on the dance floor. And you're out there, Olimar's blowing his whistle. And you're like, oh, I wish I would blow my whistle. Just blow the damn whistle.
Let me play next time, then.
Okay, next time we do Pikmin 2, I'm just handing you the controller, because my problem is, like, my brain has not been able to handle doing Pikmin lately, and I don't know why. It's welcome to the fucking magic of ADHD. The true magic was inside you all along. Friendship? No, debilitating curses. But, like, knowing you could probably just handle Pikmin for me, yeah. Let's have you do it.
Okay.
Just Red Place Pikmin every Saturday.
Red Place Pikmin. Watch me own it a game I've played all of 5 seconds.
You're gonna dominate it. You're gonna walk out of there on day 20 with all 30 parts.
Probably.
No, the worst part. The worst part's gonna be, I know how this works.
Yeah.
One of two situations is gonna happen.
Oh, because this is gonna be like when you let me play Animal Crossing and
no,
then
that's not what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Either A, you're gonna get heartbroken every time a Pikmin dies.
I mean, I will get a little heartbroken, but I learned to shut that off.
Or two, it'll be like, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. Rush.
Basically.
All the little yellow bastards getting eaten by Bulblins left and right.
It's just me in the background like, I need them to die so I can do this.
No, something I did watch. I didn't quite like the video because the guy made a couple too many edgelordy jokes.
That's always the worst.
He did a genocide run of Pikmin.
Oh, no.
Where you have to end every day with no Pikmin.
Oh, that would suck.
And so, like, the last hour of his day until he got the blues was, alright, boys, into the water.
Oh, God!
Let's go to Puppy Lake.
No!
And then once he got the blues, it was, okay, I'm only taking blues out if there's a fire field. Go on, boys, go play in the fountain.
Oh.
Go play in the fountain, boys.
No. That is so messed up.
It is. It's horrible. And then he did the opposite. He did a no killing anything run for Pikmin 2.
Okay.
Not even bosses.
Oh.
No killing anything.
Okay.
Nothing may die. It's like, can you? He did it. He got to a technically winnable point of Pikmin 3. Or sorry, Pikmin 2. It's like, that seems too hard. Let's just play normal.
Yeah, I just want to play it normal, because I've never played them before, and it always looked like something I would be really into.
So the first one's the simple one.
Yeah.
The second one's the hardest. The third one, they really lowered the difficulty. But the biggest problem with 2 and 3 is, number 1 is you were in charge of one army.
Yeah.
Number 2, to deal with places, you have to split your army.
Okay.
Number 3, you have to split 3 ways sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's when you hit the 3, you go like, oh, that sounds hard.
I mean, I could do it, I just wouldn't like it.
And then you gotta deal with them creepy gooey boys.
Oh, no.
Them creepy gooey boys.
Oh boy, they coming.
So you know the conceits of all 3 games, right?
No.
Okay, first one.
I kind of blank them out unless I'm actually playing the game.
Alright, I won't then.
I kind of get the conceit of you're this little alien and you have crashed, like the first game you crash land.
Yeah.
And the point of the game is to collect the parts to fix your ship.
Yeah, you got it.
And you're using the little plant dudes to do it.
Yeah, that's the whole idea.
Okay.
And the second one is your company's in debt, so you have to find treasure to get out of debt.
Okay.
It's capitalism ho.
Hi-ho capitalism, here we go again.
It's DuckTales, but with less family. And then the third one is you're a whole separate group of aliens. It's like, okay, guys, so just so we're aware, we're irrevocably ruining our planet's climate and eating all of our food. Uh-huh. Can you guys stop shoving food in your mouth for 5 goddamn seconds? Sorry, I can't hear you over the diesel generator I'm running. Oh no, we're out of food and our atmosphere's fucked. Oh no. You three, go find us more food. So they end up on the Pikmin planet and end up with finding out that our fruit is the size of them.
Oh yeah.
And they're all fruitarian.
Oh, so they've solved their hunger problem.
They do, but now they gotta get the seeds back to the planet.
Yeah.
But they crashed it first, and they got separated. So you gotta recombine them, then you gotta get enough fruit. Then you gotta deal with all this other bullshit.
Alright, so real quick, now that I've laid down all of my shadows, got my nice space shadows going on, I'm gonna go up here to filter, to blur strong, and that just blurs the outline, so it makes it a little bit softer. And now, we're gonna do something anathema to most artists. We're gonna combine these layers.
I combine layers all the time and then hate myself.
Yeah. I end up not hating myself because I can always go back and fix that later. But now we're gonna create a new layer. This one we're gonna set to multiply. And this is gonna be our gradient layer. And we're gonna go ahead and color pick this new color we created by lowering the opacity on black. So now that we've grabbed that, we're gonna go down here to our, we're gonna go up here to our line art layer. And we're gonna go ahead and select, and then we're gonna make it go out by like a pixel, so we can select all the stuff we need. And remember, the opacity of our layer is still linked to the layer beneath it. So when I go to do anything on this layer, it's only gonna show up on this one. But I just want to make sure that I'm only getting the areas to shade that I need to. For that, I like to use the magic wand tool to select. And then once we have our selection, we're going to zoom back out. And we're going to use our gradient tool down here, foreground to transparent, to then create more shadowy depths.
Ooh, very nice.
Yes.
I've run into other businessy things.
Okay, go do businessy things. And for little stuff like this that I don't really need a gradient on, but which are there, I go in with my airbrush tool, and we're going to set it to soft, very, very soft. And then we're just going to kind of shade in these areas so they come out a little bit darker. And yes, clearly there's a little bit of a problem there, so what we're going to do, we can go in with our pen, and we don't have to change color this time, because that color should already be there. We're just going to, yep, and there, problem fixed. And we didn't have to change color. So now, we're just gonna lather, rinse, and repeat for the entirety of the picture. And like I said, if you see little mistakes, you can go back and fix them. You know, there's nothing bad about it. You know, everyone makes mistakes, and sometimes the mistakes end up helping you to create something you didn't think you would before. You know, sometimes mistakes are good things. Not always. Not always. But you know, mistakes happen and it's fine. So we're still gonna expand, but this time, because we're selecting a portion that I don't want, I'm gonna go ahead and use my pen selection tool, but this time we're gonna set it to erase. It's a little small, so we're gonna put it up to 10, and then we're just gonna erase the portion that I'm not gonna use right this second. because I don't want the gradient to go all the way over there yet. I just want to reach this portion. When we're creating our gradients, we just want it to reach the areas, because we're creating kind of the depth. We're basically creating shape, even if it's not there in the drawing itself. You want to hint at more depth, and it helps create a more 3D appearance even on a 2D image. So basically what you're doing is you're just creating depth that may not already be there. I'm going to go ahead and select again. Fine, just a bit. And this time we're going to do the opposite that we did last time. We're going to take this, and this time we're going to erase this portion. Because we've already shaded that portion, so we don't need it anymore. I mean, obviously we still need it. It's still going to be there, but what I mean is I don't need it to be selected. So we're just going to... And this is basically my shading process. Next time, I think I'll probably show you guys how I color things, although it's very quick. All it basically is like I go in with my selection tools. I start off with the magic wand, and then I go in with the pen to fine-tune it a little bit, and then I just use my my fill tool, and then I just fill it with the base color that I want. And you can adjust it as you need from there, and it's like one color per layer. I know some people do it like all colors are on all layers or all on one layer. I mean, it depends on it's just gonna be like whatever works for you. So now sometimes what you're gonna end up having is this slight line where the gradients mix, and that's just easy to fix with a blend tool. You can just go in just like that, and it pretty much erases it, and you just adjust as necessary. Ta-da. So now we've started in on our more complex shadows. Now when we get to the highlighting, basically how I'm going to do that is before I combine layers, I'm going to make that one go invisible, go down to this one, and color grab my base layer color. And then I'll go into my color adjustments here and lighten everything until I get to a nice contrasting lighter color. I'll make a new layer, and I will set it to screen or add glow, whichever one I feel works better. It really depends on the color and how I want the shading to go, because sometimes some highlighting techniques work better than others, and this is just basically setting the different blending mode of your layer. So this is also helping us blend in our more thick shadows, so that they're still there. They're still creating that extra like sharpness to the detail, but now we have this softer gradient that helps to blend them in a little bit better. And it also helps, and it's also, since it's set to multiply, it comes out darker, which helps create a more dynamic feel for our image. Let me know if this is boring to anybody, and I will change gears. Okay, so what else has happened in the last year? Oh, I went no contact with my mother. If you are at all familiar with some of my other art streams, I will probably have told stories about just how my mother impacted my life in a very negative way, and then continued to do so even after I'd moved out and started my life as an adult, finally. So it you know, I didn't, it's not something I enjoyed doing, it was just something I had to do for my own health and well-being. It's not something I enjoyed, but so I finally did it, and it was kind of a relief. That part at least I feel better about. It's kind of put a strain on my relationships with the rest of my family, but as far as my own mental health, I feel so much better, not having to worry about the next time she's gonna call, how that's gonna impact me, when the next time she visits, how that's going to basically ruin my life for the next 2 weeks, that kind of thing. So I'm just kind of glad to have it over with, sort of. I mean, it's still an ongoing thing, but it's mostly done, and it kind of feels like I'm getting my life on track finally at the age of 30. But I mean, you're gonna have people tell you, oh, how could you do that kind of thing? It's your mom, it's your dad, it's whoever. But if that person is hurting you, even if it's in ways that other people don't understand, like emotionally, or, oh no, I'm sorry that keeps happening to you, Tiff Taff. That sucks. Oh no. But yeah, like if you have someone that's like, there's just their presence in your life isn't a constructive one, it's just harmful, and it doesn't really matter who they are or what they are to you, if they're hurting you, even if it's just like, even if it's not physically, that's still abuse, and it's not okay, and you don't deserve it. I'm here to tell you now, you do not deserve to be treated that way. No one deserves to be treated that way. You're not crazy, and there's people out there who will help you and who do care for you. And even if it's just learning to care for yourself, it's important to understand, your own limits and your own boundaries that aren't connected to anybody else, including your family. Because just because they're your family doesn't mean they get to torture you. That's not how real family acts. That's not how someone who loves you should act. Or will act. Because I'm lucky that I have people who I know do love me. And, it was such a culture shock going from living with my mother to living with people who actually cared about me, because, they would do things just thinking, yeah, what, I bet she would like this, or I bet they would like this, and, family members, this is 100% straight facts. Yes. Very much so, Inquisitor Wilhelmina. But yeah, moving in with my roommates who really do care for me and who do things for me just to make me feel good without being asked. And it's not something they would do to make themselves feel good. It's something specifically just to me. Something that I had mentioned, not... Because my mom would, pretend to do stuff for me sometimes. Where she would go to Costco and she'd come back with, a shirt that she liked or something, and she bought, a different version of it for me. That's... And it would be, without asking me, and, it would never be anything that I actually enjoyed. And if I, said, I don't, this is not something I need, it's not something I want, she would throw a fit, because this is a gift, how could you turn away a gift? It's it's not a gift I asked for. But, with my roommates, it would be little stuff like, getting me yoo-hoos because I said, I like them, and, I don't get the chance to drink them very often. That kind of thing. Not gifts that turn into, these kind of like moments where they can guilt you, or these gifts that turn into, see how good of a person I am, so I can be terrible to you in the next moment, and you just have to deal with it. There's a difference between just doing something because you're family and you love a person, and doing something because you're gonna get something out of it. And learning the difference, it really did feel like being set free, or honestly, it felt like going to the spa. I would go to the spa with my mom, and you'd have these other people pamper you for a day, and it's like, oh, I never get this treatment, and then moving in with my roommates, it's like, oh, like, other people feel this way more than just going to the spa once in a blue moon. It's, people can feel this way all the time. So it's just learning, to respect yourself and your own boundaries, and knowing when something is really love and not just a manipulation. And I'm just so glad to have what I do now. Getting off of that very depressing topic, though. Now I'm working. I'm really enjoying my work. I like working at the library. I mean, I'm gonna have complaints because it's a job, and everybody's gonna complain about their job unless they really, really enjoy their job. And I hope to get to that point someday where I get a job that I really, really enjoy. Like, if I could do this all the time, that'd be a job I really, really enjoy. I wouldn't complain about it at all. But I'm not there yet. But that sucks. Alright, I hope you have a great day, Tiff Taff, and thank you for joining me. I'm sorry that your internet keeps messing up like that, and that Twitch keeps freezing for you. But yeah, come join us again soon. I hope your issues go away through that. Not sure what else to say about that. Okay, so so I work at a public library now. It's like a county job, so I continued to have a paycheck even when I wasn't going in for work. And it's not like the libraries are fully open, because I'm in California. We're still in the middle of a full shutdown, basically. But I go in and I see my co-workers. Some of the closed library branches have been handing out PPE, which, if you don't know what that stands for, PPE stands for personal protection, like emergency supplies or something like that. It's basically like masks and gloves and hand sanitizer and all that stuff. And it's something that the county is handing out to local businesses, and they're handing it out through the local libraries. I'm not a part of that. I'm part of the regular library services, which right now is kind of devolved into collecting books that people turn in when they and then making appointments for times when people can come in, can show up, park in our park in front of the library, and then we will bring out the books to them. Most of my job is actually just picking up the return books from the book drop and putting them in quarantine, which basically means we put them on a table and leave them there for 3 days, because the virus can't. Well, I mean, we've done tests, and basically what we've learned is that if you leave books alone in a sanitary environment for 3 days, the virus dies. So, we have to put the books in quarantine after we get them turned in and stuff like that. The one of the new and unfortunate parts of the quarantine, which is killing me, like it just equipment, yeah, personal protection equipment. That's what it is. Thank you, Inquisitor Wilhelmina. Um, so, like, one of the most unfortunate things about the quarantine and my job that's come up is like, we can't take in donations because if we did, we'd get to a point where... Hang on a second. I'm just going to close the door. Somebody's having a phone conversation. I don't want to impact them. They don't want to impact me. I'm going to close the door. Anyway, so one of the most unfortunate things that has come out of this is we can't accept donations of books. Because, first of all, a charity organization handles that for the library. The library itself does not handle that portion. And we can't let those charitable people in because most of them are elderly. They're high risk, so we can't let them in. And the other problem with this is that we have no way to properly sanitize those donations. And we can't keep accepting them because they'll just pile up. We're not dealing them out. We're not doing, we're not selling them. We're not doing anything with those donations. So basically the CDC recommendation is toss them in the dumpster. And so that's part of the job that I have to do now is throwing books into a dumpster and saying goodbye to them, and it feels really bad. And it's like we have signs everywhere that say we're not accepting donations, and books just keep coming in. I think probably because people are cleaning out their houses and they're like, I don't need these anymore. The library will take them. It's like, no, we won't. We don't accept donations right now. Because we don't have the space for new donations. Eventually we just run out of space for everything. And right now, the closet that we keep donations in is bursting. We can't even close the door. Like, we just can't accept anymore. And people just keep bringing in more books. And I feel bad every time because there's always going to be one or two books that people drop off that I'm like, oh, no. Like, last Thursday, because I didn't work Friday, because holiday. But last Friday, somebody brought in a bunch of, like, investment and, like, books on finance and stuff like that. And then amidst those, there was an antique book of Shakespearean poetry and an antique book on Judy Garland, and I had to throw both of them away, which was extremely painful. Especially since the Judy Garland book had, like, really nice antique illustrations in it. Like, these were clearly, books that could have been worth something if someone had kept them. There were books that we would have loved to have in our collection, but we can't take them. We can't accept them. There's no way to fully sanitize those books. Library books, we sanitize them. We keep them for 6 days, most of the time. At the very least 3. We know how to sanitize them. We can keep them in quarantine. We can make sure that they're safe for people. We can't do that with these donations. And, like, it feels real bad having to throw them in the dumpster, like, all the time. I had to throw out, like, 20 books on Thursday. It sucked. I hated it. That's now a part of my job is throwing out books. And I'm like, this feels anathema. I work at a library. This feels wrong. Like, our whole thing is, like, preserving books now. And the thing is, like, I've noticed, like, ever since I started working at the public library, there's, you get these people who are like, oh, those are still around? Why do we even need them? And it's like, large cities don't need them, but small towns definitely do. For a lot of small towns, like the town I live in, there's no real community center. So the library acts as community center. We don't even have a movie theater, so the library offers movies. We offer children's events during the summer and tutoring. We offer all these other services that, like, sure, maybe you don't need them, but other people do. We offer copying services and services to the internet, because not everyone has access to the internet. I know that seems weird today in 2020. Like, oh yeah, sure, everybody has access to the internet, but that's not true. Like, a lot of people don't, and a lot of our patrons are elderly or they're homeless, and we provide essential services for them. We are an essential business, essentially, even though we're not a business, we're a government organization. And it's not just that. Like, libraries are also, we're public, which means we don't censor. We can't. We're literally not allowed to. I've had to, like, go... There's certain times where I've had to, like, go through the library and be like, okay, this is somebody leaving weird Christian pamphlets in the children's section again. I have to throw these out, like, because, we're a government organization. We have to be, basically we have to be, neutral. We can't talk about our own beliefs or our own political stances at work. Like, these are just things we can't do. And we don't like. I remember there's this one woman who made a request for a Christian approved children's books, and like, we don't have a section for Christian approved literature. Like, if we did, we'd have to have a section for every religion. Like, we don't have the space for that. We don't have the time for that. Like, we got the time for that. It's just not something we can do. We're a government organization. We have to be secular. We can't do anything for everyone. So it's just basically, we're a place where people can come in and get that information that they may not have otherwise gotten. Because we have the Bible and we have the Quran and the Torah. We have copies of all those things, because that's public information. People should have access to that information. Public records. We're like the last bastion of a lot of these things. And it's it kind of hurts when you have people who are like, oh, we should just replace public libraries with Amazon stores. And it's like, not everyone can afford to buy books. The library offers free audiobooks, free physical books, obviously. But, we also offer, like, free audiobooks and stuff like that. Like, I really do recommend that everyone should check out their local library and support them. I feel like local libraries are very important, especially since I work at one. But even before then, I thought they were important. Because I never had a local library, really, growing up. The library in my town was constantly moving. It was never in one place. It was constantly getting booted from whatever building it was in, so there was no real way of knowing where the hell it was. And that was a shame, because I could have really used one of those as a kid. Because I ate books, basically. I just devoured them. I read voraciously as a child because I needed an escape. And I really wish that I could have gone to the public library more. But yeah, like, I hate that a part of my job now is throwing out books that people have donated. Like, that really hurts. I'm sad that my county is kind of debating whether or not the library should even be a thing in the future here, soon in the future. So I'm like, I'm gonna keep this job for as long as I have it. Like, I hate that. And it's like, one thing I'm always afraid of is purchasing a book and not liking it. It just feels like a waste of money. So getting a book from a library is an easier and cost-effective option. Yeah, like, exactly. Like, if you're not sure if you're going to like a book and you don't want to buy it, you can always go to the library. And the thing is if your local library doesn't have it, a lot of branches work within the county. Some of them work in multiple counties, especially if you're a smaller branch like ours is. Like, we work with our county, and then we also work with the county next door to us. So, like, if we don't have the book, you can request it, and we'll get it shipped in from whichever library does have it. And most libraries in the U.S. anyway. I don't know how it is in other countries, but most libraries in the U.S. will do that. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like libraries are important. We've kind of left them to languish. Sucks. But yeah, so I really enjoy my work. I don't enjoy throwing out books, but you know, I figure that's a portion of my book or job that'll eventually go away. Like when this whole thing is over, if it's ever over. Sometimes it feels like it never will be, but it will be. I have faith that it will be. I say that knowing that I am a Unitarian Universalist and basically the next best thing to agnostic. Yeah, like I have faith that things will get better and things will change. So some of what you can see that I'm doing here is I'm kind of trying to select certain areas so I can create a little more depth than what I have, just to keep up with the shadows I've already created. Basically, because like sometimes I can't reach like certain areas to create that extra depth that I need, to kind of show, you know, this area bends or this area is kind of like a curve, like, so that's when I go in and I kind of draw out the shape that I want for the gradient to take. What else have I been up to lately? Excuse me. Well, other than, you know, I've, like I was saying, like, I redecorated my room while I was off, because I was still getting paid. Thank God. And then, you know, I got the rebate check from the government, and I was like, oh, this is an extra $1,000 that I didn't budget in, and I can't do the other things I was going to be budgeting for, so I might as well, like, scoot ahead my redecorating / renovating schedule. So I ended up renovating my bedroom and my bathrooms. Now my bedroom is all brand new furniture. I have cleaned it out like 5-10 different times. Like every time I get a new piece of furniture or something, I wind up going through my stuff again and going, oh, I don't need this, or I don't need that, and why do I have this? And then I just throw it out. There's been a lot of that. Although some of it has been going to my roommates and being like, hey guys, I have this like extra thing that I don't need and or want. Would you like it? And then it gets repurposed, which I'm glad. Like, that's been a lot of my organizational stuff has gone that route, because I've got new organizational stuff that like maximized space in my room. I kind of created this nice separation of like where I sleep and where I now work, because I'm not working out in the living room anymore with my laptop on a TV tray and my tablet on my lap. I'm now working with my tablet on basically what is a keyboard tray on my desk, and I should like post pictures of this stuff. I mean, I posted a lot of them on my Instagram, because I deleted my Facebook before I cut off my mom, but I also just hopped onto Instagram so that I could talk to a few friends that, you know, I don't get to talk to otherwise, and keep in touch with family members, because it's weird that my family members are all on Instagram, but they are. So I kind of share like my renovation pictures there. I've also been sharing my renovation pictures in the different Discords that I'm a part of, although not the Alchemyprime one. I should really post what I've been up to there as well. But I'm actually really proud of it, because like I got a peacock bathroom now. Like, I've always wanted that. It's a peacock themed bathroom. It is both a pun and beautiful. Like, it's both symbolic and a pun. I thought that was great. But yeah, like, so, because I mean, I thought I was gonna have to resort to, going with a different theme for my bathroom. Like, I thought I was gonna have to do, like, a steampunk cephalopod mix, bathroom kind of thing. Like, I was gonna go, like, full steampunk and then, like, squids and octopuses just everywhere, which I'm sure Rob would have hated, because he does not appreciate cephalopods the way that I do, especially octopi. He kind of hates them. He's a little bit afraid of them. Considering how much H.P. Lovecraft he's read, I don't blame him. Like, so he really hates it. I was like, I'm kind of glad I didn't have to go that route, because now Rob can go into my bathroom if he needs to. Like, most of the time he doesn't have to, but, you know, it's his house too, I'd like him to have the option. Like, if Mikella's using the other bathroom and he really needs to go, I don't want him to be too afraid to use it. It did strike me, though, that I was like, oh, this would be a fun way to keep him out. But I'm not that mean. So I was like, yeah, I'm glad that I got the peacock stuff. Because, like, I thought the peacock thing was going to be, like, way too expensive. Because all the peacock stuff I saw online was either from, like, kind of shady companies, which is always nerve-wracking, or, like, it was all really expensive. And I was like, oh no, I don't know if I can afford to do this. So, like, my budget initially for the bathroom was like $1,000 to redo it. And I wound up spending, like, just barely over $200 on everything for my bathroom. And I just, like, I mean, there's a couple things I probably might put in there additionally later on. Like, I'd like to add a few more peacocky, like, accessories and stuff. But, like, I mean, I got a new shower curtain liner, new bath mat, new towels, new toothbrush holder and cup, and, like, soap dispenser. Yesterday we went out shopping at Target, and I got a soap dish finally for, like, bar soap, because I couldn't find one that I liked. This one's kind of a placeholder, but it's a good placeholder. It's fairly cheap, and I like it. Kind of goes, it's like white porcelain when everything else is, like, because initially I was gonna go with like this kind of, like, Art Nouveau antique style, but I wound up going more. I mean, it's still slightly Art Nouveau, but it's like less overt. It's a little more modern now, and it's white and this kind of, like, tealish blue to, like, royal blue. So it's like white, blue, and gold are the colors in the bathroom, and then, like, the theme is peacock. And it looks really good. I'm actually really proud of it. You know, there's still some stuff I would like to change. I would like to alter some of the fixtures, but for that, like, I'd need to own the house, and, you know, we'll see what's happening there. But like, in the meantime, you know, I got all my peacock stuff up, and it looks good, and I'm happy with it, and it really lightens up the bathroom, because before it was like I had blue towels, and then I had an orange shower curtain, I had, like, no matching stuff on the counter, it was just kind of all over the place, and so now everything is organized, and I'm like, oh, how did I live before? This is great. And the same thing's kind of going on with my bedroom. It's like I was kind of going for a modern Viking theme. I haven't quite reached the theme yet, but, you know, I'm going, like, because the walls are really light. So I went with dark furniture to make the walls kind of pop and add a little more dimension to the room. Because what they don't tell you on all those interior design blogs I've seen is that doing white on white does not add more space. It makes it like washes everything out to the point of your eye can't focus on anything. So it just kind of creates a void. I don't like that. I think having a void space is stupid. Personal preference. So instead I went for like a bunch of really dark furniture, like kind of like really dark walnut and mahogany, or just straight up black. So it's kind of become like tan, red, white, and black in my room. 4 colors. Stick to like 4 or 5 colors at max. There's still things I would like to alter. Like if I could, I would be putting all of my Venetian style masks in the bathroom. But there's this thing about, glitter and glue mixed with humidity and heat. It's not a good idea. So I'm like, I'm not gonna do that. I might eventually move the masks out into the hallway, maybe the living room. I don't know. For now, they're up on the wall in my room. I got these like sticky tack plastic hooks that I have them on. They're like practically invisible hooks, so it just seems like they're floating on nothing, which is neat. Like eventually though, I want to get some like Viking / Norse style like antiques or statues and stuff to go about my room, because I kind of want to create like a nice warm safe den feeling, which I know is a little ridiculous, but yeah, agreed. I love the contrast of dark furniture with light walls. So nice. Yeah, and the reason why that looks so nice is because going into a bit of color theory here. In order to make things pop, you can't put dark on dark and you can't put light on light. Because when you put light on light, your eye doesn't know quite where to focus because it's taking in all that light at once. So it becomes very hard. You need like contrasting bright colors, or you need some dark in order for the light to really pop out. Because otherwise, you can't really see the depth of whatever room you're in. You're just kind of seeing the absence of depth, which just kind of creates a void, and it kind of makes your space look bigger, but it also leads to more accidents in the home because your guy can't focus on that much light at once. You wind up running into things. Not that I haven't stopped running into things with the dark furniture. I still do, but that's because I'm a klutz. But yeah, like my mom was a big prescriber of that idea of like light on light, and it's not great. Like you want to create if you want to create like a nice flowing feel and add more depth to your space and make your space feel bigger than it is, go light walls, dark furniture. Because I don't have a problem with light walls. I think light walls are fine. Well, personally, I prefer color. But, like, I don't like the trend of doing, like, white, pale walls, and then, like, or off-white walls, and then you have, like, gray furniture. It's like, did we just lose all inspiration when we hit the 2010s? What happened? Like, I hate all of it. Can we go back to Art Nouveau for the 2020s? I would appreciate that. Art Nouveau was great. I would love that if we could just go back to Art Nouveau style. That would be amazing. Like, have a renaissance of that style would be great. Because I don't know what is up with interior design lately, but I hate it. I hate everything about it. There's just nothing... It's soulless. It feels soulless, which I hate saying about anyone's artwork. Because I do consider interior design to be a bit of an art. Because having an art background helps with it. But, like, Jesus Christ, I don't know what's happening, but I hate it. It feels like there's no soul. It just kind of feels like they're churning out cheap stuff for like profit, and I hate it. I hate it so much. It's the worst. But yeah, like, so I've got this like, well, this like dark furniture, and I'm clearing out some of my knickknacks too, because like as much as I am a very sentimental person who collects and keeps knickknacks and stuff like that, you know, I'm a geek, so I have geeky stuff everywhere. There's certain stuff that I'm like, oh, I don't need this, or I don't want this anymore. You know, I got rid of a ton of posters because I'm like, I don't need posters anymore. I feel like I've outgrown that stage in my life. Or it's just because like they're posters of things that I no longer enjoy, or they're posters of things that I'm like, oh, what was I thinking when I bought this? The art is terrible. Like, I think I had an X-Men poster, but it was like Rob Liefeld art, where, you know, the men are all like ridiculously over muscled to the point of it being ridiculous, and nobody has any ribs. There's no rib cage on anyone in Rob Liefeld art. Like, you look at it and you just go, why? Why does no one have a rib cage? Why is everyone like huge, like chest, itty bitty waist? Like, everyone, and then no hips. There's no hips on anyone. Nobody has an ass. This is the worst. Everyone's clothes are skin tight for no reason. You can see everybody's nipples. It was just like one of those things of like, why did I get this Rob Liefeld art? I don't really like this. Like, I liked it because it was X-Men, but that's not a reason to buy a poster. Just because it's like, there's other X-Men art I could have bought. Why did I buy that one? So, and I got rid of that one because I was like, why do I have this? I don't want this. It's also why I threw out the Buffy poster, because I was like, why do I have a Buffy poster for like season 4 or 5 or something? And I'm like, I would have preferred to season 6 because I hate Riley. Why would I get a poster with Riley on it? I hate that actor. Like, and the thing is like, it's not that it was just that he's so bland of a character who's really just there as like a foil for Buffy. And I kind of enjoyed it for a little while, but then after they killed her at the end of season 5. Yeah, it was season 5. And they brought her back for season 6. It was just kind of like, he's just that jerk who he didn't like it that his girlfriend was stronger than him, and so decided to do dangerous juicing in order to be stronger than his girlfriend for stupid reasons. And I'm just like, I don't like that. That's stupid. Like, so I didn't like him as a character because I just thought he was just kind of this insecure ass. You know? Not like any, I don't know. It's like I fell out of love with Buffy there a little while ago. There's still parts of it I really enjoyed, and it got me through a time in my life where, you know, I needed that kind of thing. But it's still kind of one of those things where it's like, Buffy's not that great. So, like, I don't have that poster anymore either. Interior design is harder than people think it is. To create a home room that has specific feelings requires a lot of color theory, knowledge of depth that people don't always think about intuitively, but it's real cool stuff. Yeah, exactly. Like, you need to understand color theory, and a lot of people are just like, I'm gonna be an interior designer, and like, they have no understanding of color theory, and it ticks me off. I get so mad when I see people putting like really sharp bright reds in like bathrooms. I'm like, no, bathrooms need to be calm, blue, greens, maybe a light purple. If you're gonna do red, do like a soft red. What is this bright red bullshit in the bathroom? Then when you know art design and you start to see everything wrong, it's just, yeah, exactly. Like, I really hate that you have these people who are like, what do we even need the arts for? And it's like, art isn't everything. Art is a part of architecture. It's a part of advertisements. People have to design you know, street signs and street lamps. Artists had to create that, you know? It's not something that's easy. You can't just pop it out. It does take knowledge and information and years of study and work. Like, it's not something you just pop out or, you know, after, like, looking at it for 5 seconds, you know? Not everyone could do it. If they could, everyone would, you know? And it's not to say I don't think, like, anyone, like, it's very much a Ratatouille situation of anyone can do art. Not everyone should. Like, you know, I think any person can be capable of becoming an artist, but I don't think everyone is an artist, you know? It's that kind of situation. Oh, yeah, super saturated red in a bathroom, just why? No, super saturated red in a kitchen is great. You know, red in a kitchen is a fantastic idea because the human brain, when it sees red, thinks either danger or, boy, blood, that means food. Like, that's why when you see all of the different fast food places, they have bright yellow, which is an alarming color. It triggers our brain response to immediately pay attention to it, and red, which is both a color that makes us pay attention, and it's also a color that makes us feel hungry. So that's why you see those colors, is because our brains are immediately geared instinctively to go, hey, pay attention to this. It's why yellow and red are used for stoplights. We are immediately geared to pay attention to those colors. It's an instinctive thing. And that's something that you learn from color theory. Like, these are important lessons. I'm sorry, we're not on a tangent. Yeah, red and yellow in kitchens are great. I've always kind of wanted, like, either a soft yellow kitchen or, like, a warm red kitchen. Although, honestly, if I'm gonna be honest, I also really like the idea of a green kitchen, but I think it's just because I really like the idea of open spaces coming into the inside. Or the inside looking like open spaces. Not that I like those designs that make it seem like you're because I noticed something, like, when you look up designs, like, that they're geared towards, like, men or bachelors, it's like, be the guy who shits in the woods. It's just like, why would you make it look like you're, like, outside? Like, no, I want to make it look like I'm, like, the roof is open or something, maybe, but why would you, like, design something where you actively feel like you're outside? Like, no, that's terrifying. Why would you do that? And I guess it's just because a lot of guys want to feel like they're a bear shitting in the woods. Yeah, I mean, not that I use it, but yeah, exactly. Like, there's also a bunch of people who have art degrees and don't use them for much. But, I mean, obviously you're using it. You understand, what I was talking about with interior design. So you're clearly using some of it. It's funny where these things come up. Anyway, what was I talking about before I got to this tangent? It was talking about my room, right? Oh, right. So I have all these knickknacks that I don't necessarily need anymore. You know, they were gifts from people. Some of them were gifts from people, and that's why I'll keep them. You know, because they're, like, gifts from people who aren't here anymore, which means, you know, they're sentimental gifts. Or other times it's like, oh, I got this when I was at that place and I wanted to remember. It's a souvenir. But other times it's like, why do I have this? Like, if I can't remember it, why do I even have it? Or it's like things that I got that I don't need, or, like, I never wanted in the first place. Like, I can tell you right now, I have a cannon that I got at a colonial stop in Philadelphia, and I'm like, I don't need this. I've had it since I was a child, and I'm like, I don't need this to remember Philadelphia. I remember Philadelphia plenty. I spent a lot of summers there. And also, I didn't really enjoy it. Philadelphia was not something I really enjoyed. I'm sure other people enjoy Philadelphia, but I am not one of them. Pennsylvania, that's the state. It's just that my sister lived in Philadelphia. But yeah, like, I don't really enjoy Pennsylvania. Like, it's an okay state. It's just not for me. Most of the East Coast is just not for me. I've noticed. And this is coming from somebody who, like, used to live half of her summers in the East Coast. It's just like, nah, it's not for me. It's not for me. Like, no thanks. I can see how other people enjoy it. It's just not something I enjoy. I just don't. I don't know what it is. It's just like, there's just something like so formal about it that I just don't like. Because they're just much more laid back on the West Coast. I think what it boils down to. I think it also boils down to that I don't like big cities for the most part. I'm very much a person who like prefers the like small town feel kind of, but I don't really like small town politics. I'm very much if I could be a hermit, I would be a hermit. Like I know like the place that I most felt at home was like traveling in Ireland and Scotland. That kind of felt like coming home to me. We spent time in Balmoral, or near Balmoral anyway. Come on, brain, because we flew into the northern, the northeast coast of Scotland. Not near. Is it Aberdeen? Am I thinking of Aberdeen? Did I actually remember the name for once? I never remember the name. Oh my god. Actually freaking remember the name. Aberdeen. I love that area. That area is great. I love the area around Ness, which people are probably more familiar with Loch Ness. But the town of Ness, or the city of Ness, is very beautiful. I loved it. There's things about it that were just so charming and like kind of like picture book and almost like a fairy tale kind of. Like there's just things I really loved about it. I would love to go back. I would love to go to some of the islands off of the west coast of Scotland too. I'd love to go back. Scotland had the right feel for me. I'd also love to go to Sweden and other parts of Scandinavia and see them too. Because there's certain places you go to and then you feel more at home there than you do at home. Or at least that's how I felt back then. I mean, now it's like, anywhere I go, I'm like, no, I want to go back home. Like, I like it here, but I like my home better. Which I never felt before. So it's an interesting feeling having that now. But, like, I would love to travel more. And I'm glad now that I have a job so I can actually go out and do those things again. If I save up for it, which I will, because, I always thought it was terrible at financial planning until I actually started to do it on my own, and it's like, oh, I'm actually good at it, I'm not one of those people who recklessly spends all of their money. I had just been led to believe I was, because I'm actually very careful about plotting everything out. Like, sometimes I make mistakes, but everybody makes mistakes, and it's never something that's gonna, like, fundamentally damage me for years to come. It's not like something like I bought Like, there's this anime called BNA, and there's this character who's like a little bear, and he keeps buying things on like lifetime payments. And I'm like, oh, thank God I'm not that bear. You know, I'm not buying something on a lifetime payment on a credit card with a loan from like the mafia or something. You know, I always thought like I was that kind of person. Turns out, no, I am not at all that type of person. I just had no money before. You know, now I actually have money. It's like, oh, this is what it feels like to be safe. Which is so weird to like say, but like that's what it feels like. It's like, oh, finally I have security. So weird to say. Feels weird to say. But yeah, like I would love to plan to go to places now, and like I never thought I would want to go to Australia, but now that I know people who live there and I have friends there, I'm like, yeah, I'd love to go to Australia. I'd love to see my friends. I'd love to visit them. There's places in Australia I'd like to go visit. You know, I feel less scared, and I feel less terrified of the world and more at ease with myself now than I ever have before. And I'm glad I've gotten to that point, and I'm glad that I have people helping me to get to that point. I mean, I'm well aware that as a person, you know, there's still places where I need to improve. I'm still paranoid. I still have moments where I think the entire world is against me, or, you know, there's other things that I need to work on or get checked out, you know, just to be a responsible, proper adult human being. And I'm not saying this to like bash my younger self or to say like if you don't get this you're not a real proper adult. I'm saying like for me to feel like I'm a real proper adult, these are things I just need to work on and to do and to maintain. You know, mental health is not, you know, one and done or you know, something that you go in once and have a therapy session and you're done for life. No, it's things that it's something that you have to work on. I hate when it does that. It's you know, it's something that you have to work on. It's something that you have to maintain. Because it's like any other, because it's a chronic thing. It's not something that you can just go in and fix in like 5 seconds and then be good for the rest of your life. It's like having a syndrome. You know, syndromes don't have cures. They have multiple causes, and so it's just about maintaining them and maintenance. And yeah, that sucks. Maintenance sucks. Nobody likes maintenance. Nobody likes the hard, boring work. But sometimes it's something that you just have to do to feel better and to be better. And I'm glad that I'm getting to that point. And I hope you guys are getting to that point too in your own lives. You know, there's nothing wrong with seeking help. There's nothing wrong with understanding your own limitations and understanding that you need somebody to help you. You know, it's just a part of life. You know, we can't always do things on our own. And some of us know that better than others. Some of us have to learn it the hard way, like I did. Because I never had anyone I could trust like that. But you know, now I do. And it's just, you know, it's something we all have to go through. You know, you don't have to do everything on your own. Yeah, anyway. So, you know, I'm just, I'm getting rid of the clutter in my life. And, kind of creating a space that I can really live in. Which means I just keep, It's just like the Marie Kondo situation of just keep getting rid of clutter and keep getting rid of clutter. You know, you always find new things that you have to get rid of, like these posable art dolls that you don't need and never needed in the probably never needed in the first place, just because like they don't pose properly and like not even the proper shape. It's just kind of like an impulse buy or something someone bought for you because you said you were an artist, like, or wanted to be an artist. You know, those kinds of things that you don't really need anymore or want anymore. Those are the things I'm thinking about. Just understanding I don't need them and getting rid of them. You know, there's always that limit of, do I really want to get rid of it? What if I need it? And it's like, you never really are going to need it. Like, anything you really need, you can just, you know, anything you really, like, if it's really a need, you know, it's something that you can go out and get, or something that you already have, or it's something that, like, you're going to have to work on to get. Like, needs are different than wants. You know, you want to keep it because you associate it with a certain feeling, but is that really a happy feeling, or if it's just a sense of obligation? You know, why are you keeping it around? You know, that kind of thing. So, I'm just figuring out for me what it is in my life that I'm keeping because out of a sense of obligation, and what I'm keeping because I want to have it in my life. And that kind of goes for people too, you know, like, am I keeping this person in my life out of a sense of obligation? Or am I keeping them in my life because I love them and I need them in my life? And you know, it's hard. It's hard coming to those decisions and looking at it and going, oh yeah, you know, that's something you need to do, but it's something that's important, especially for me. I feel it's important anyway. Alright, subject change. What else have I been doing lately? Oh, well, I've been watching different animes and different shows through streaming devices. Obviously, everyone's been doing that. Hard question to ask yourself, but super important. Yes, exactly. So I've been watching different animes and different shows lately, and I think a couple of them that hit the same vein is B&A, or Brand New Animal, and Beastars, and they both kind of hit in that same vein of like, is this making me here furry, or was I already a furry? Like, that kind of thing. But and it's weird because they're like two very different shows with like similar kind of presentations, you know, like both very you know, anthropomorphized characters as the stars of the show. But it feels fun. Both shows are very fun. I enjoy them for different reasons, for different things. Like, I like Beastars because it kind of hits on those themes of like those themes of, come on brain, of bias and bigotry and racism in a way that's like very different, and the different aspects of how relationships within those different categories work, and how it can work both ways. So I really liked that. I really enjoyed Beastars for that. And then you have B&A, which kind of hits on some of the same themes, but in a totally different way, because there's no real like romance going on. It's like from an outsider perspective almost. And I just really like it. Like, B&A was great. It was a really fun kind of comedic romp in a way that like Beastars definitely is not comedic at all. I mean, there's like funny moments, but it's not. I would not describe it as a comedy. What else have I been watching? Rob got me into watching stuff on DC Nation, and it was purely because of the Harley Quinn show, which was great. Like, the Harley Quinn show is great. Like, I can't wait to see if they're gonna have like another season. You know, there's a lot of stuff I enjoyed about that. Like, I love that Harley and Ivy kind of wind up have kind of like I just love their relationship in the show. Trying not to do spoilers. Okay, so anyway, this what I'm doing now is I'm using my hard airbrush tool to kind of create these lines, and then I'm gonna go in with my selection tool, select certain areas, and then take my gradient erase tool down here, gradient erase, and then I'm just gonna kind of create this gradient of a highlight, which really helps to create this like smooth finish, I've noticed. Like, I really use it for like things that are wet or like metallic. I use it for a lot of stuff. Anyway, yeah, so I started watching it for Harley Quinn, but then I was like, yeah, while I'm here, I might as well watch Doom Patrol. You know, they're gonna have a new season up here soon, so I started watching Doom Patrol, and now I'm hooked. Doom Patrol is so good. I love everything about it. It is the craziest show. It is so insane, but there's so much about it that I love. I love Danny the Street, like, the most. God, I love Danny. Danny's great. And I love, and it's just basically one of those shows where you just basically have to, like, give up and be like, you know what, fuck it, I'm just gonna go with it. Like, who cares how crazy it is now? Like, there's a lot of representation in the show, which is a surprise. I don't know, there's just so much about it that I enjoy. I love Captain Larry Traynor. It's so interesting to have like a closeted gay character who comes to themselves and realize like kind of the harm that being in the closet did, and like what being out means now. And cause it's like an immortal character. He's been there, like, he's like 95, so it's like, you know what, that would be kind of hard. So it's fun seeing it from that perspective, and seeing these characters who are really flawed, but in really great, interesting ways. I know the show's not perfect, but no show's ever gonna be perfect, you know? Nothing in the world is ever gonna be perfect, but it is a good show. I would definitely recommend getting DC Nation just for Doom Patrol alone. Would also recommend it for the Harley Quinn show. That's a great watch, although if you don't really like kind of crude dark humor, that's probably not the best show for you, but I really liked it. I love their version of Kite Man, who is just such a Chad. That's not a spoiler, he's just a Chad. And I really I love how much of a Chad he is. He's just the best. I love Kite Man. And he's like a Chad in like the best way. Like just the best way. There's no other way I can describe him. He's such a himbo, kind of. He's not a himbo, he's a Chad. Like, I love their version of Clayface, who's played by Alan Tudyk, who's amazing. Tudyk? He's in both shows. Why is it that every show with Alan Tudyk, I'm just like, yes, I love this. Everything about this. This is the best. So, like, I love that show. I also watched Swamp Thing, and now I'm sad that there's no more Swamp Thing, but, yeah, Swamp Thing was really good, too. You know, because, like, I like how DC Nation gives you, like, this view into other DC, characters besides Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman. Like, I've heard those stories a million times, and these are, like, stories I haven't heard, you know, and I enjoy them. There's like things about them that I really enjoy, and there's other things about them that are really weird, but are still kind of neat, you know. So yeah, like I really enjoy that about it. Like I think DC Nation is really worth the buy. Um, if nothing else, just to support shows like Doom Patrol and Harley Quinn. But really, just Doom Patrol. I fucking love that show. I'm addicted now. Like, it's the best. I love it so much. I can't stop talking about it because it's just so great. And it's so out there and crazy. like sentences I never thought I would say in my life is like, I really like the scene where, again, I'm trying not to give everything away. I'm not trying to do spoilers, but saying this isn't much of a spoiler. I really love anything having to do with Danny the Sentient Street. They're just a great character. I love anything having to do with Larry Traynor, because he's just so, like, he's just such a complicated mess, and a bit of a coward, and somehow this is very, like, relatable. So I love him. I love his character. I love Danny the Street. I kind of love Cliff Steele, even though he's like just such a bastard. I kind of love that he's a bastard. He's a bastard in the best way. He's a dumb himbo brain. What the hell? So like, I love that about him. He's great. Just excellent. Rita is a fantastic bitch. And I love Jane. Jane is really cool, and all of her alters. Like, there's just so much about the show that is so enjoyable, and I think it had a lot to do with the fact that all the characters are just so flawed. Like, perfect characters are boring. Flawed characters are where it's at, you know? Like, it very much, like, Doom Patrol very much follows some of the similar narrative things that I like to do in my own stories, where, you know, the more flaws a character has, the more interesting they are, because flaws can be analyzed and worked on or overcome, whereas, you know, if you start out perfect, you know, what is there for you to do? You know, and I kind of go over that with, like, with my OCs, like Web and Weaver here. You know, when I started off with them, you know, they were just like kind of two sidekicks, and then, you know, well, how do I expand on that and make them more than that? And now they're you know, they're like little pranksters who use people's, like, sympathy for what they're going through against them. You know, they're just like, they're little manipulative punks, and then when you find out their motivations, you can kind of understand them, and why they would do those things, you know, and the way they would do those things, because, you know, people aren't perfect, and then characters shouldn't be perfect either. You know, there's never going to be a, like, perfect sense of representation, or there's never going to be a character who you like 100%, or if you do, you know, you understand that they're flawed. And I think those flaws are what make characters dynamic and interesting. I mean, why do so many people like Starscream? It's because he's this character with all these flaws who keeps effing up, and it's very relatable. Like, yeah, everybody effs up, you know. I feel like that's why Starscream is so relatable, and also because he has, like, such, like, strong motivation. You know, he wants to be in charge in G1. You know, he wants to have more power and be more important. And I think that's, that kind of stuff, that can be more relatable than, just somebody doing something because it's the right thing to do. And it's like, well, yeah, but, anybody can do that. Like, what's the specific motivation, How are you doing it, and how are you effing it up, and how are you doing it right, Those are the kinds of things that really make a character. Because I never want to make a character who, doesn't have something that they don't have to work on, I want to make characters that have a bunch of flaws that people can exploit and tweak at and work with and really analyze. Like, that's the fun part of characters for me is having a character that has like something to motivate them and something to work on, or something about them that's a little bit wrong, because nobody's ever going to be perfect, and I think that's what I enjoy most about character creation and stuff like that. All right, so we have been here for 2 hours now, so I think I'm gonna have to go ahead and call it a day. I really want to say thank you so much for joining me, and I really appreciate everybody being here. I hope you guys enjoyed it and that you come back soon. I really enjoyed everything that we did today, and I hope we get to do it again soon. Hopefully, Mondays will be our new Red does art, or Red puts art in your face, because I do have a job now, so I can't do it as often as I used to, but I'm hoping at least Mondays I can do this kind of thing. All right, hope to see you guys again soon. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you're on Twitch, remember to subscribe or follow. If you want to see more stuff like this, remember to share us around to your friends, so that we can put out more stuff like this. And seriously, remember to talk to us and tell us what you like and what you don't like, so we can